Are you tired of fighting other investors for the same houses and barely making any money? In this video, I will show you 4 simple strategies to find off-market deals. These are deals no one else sees so that you could make more money and stop competing. I've seen too many investors worry about the wrong things. That's why I'm offering a free one-on-one consultation call to help you figure out your next steps and build a system to grow your business. Click the link below to book a call. First, let's reframe how you see this business. You're not in the construction business, you're not in the flipping business, or even in the rental business. You're actually in the business of finding opportunities. And for most real estate business owners, the bottleneck is simple. You don't control the inventory, meaning you are reactive and you fight for the same scraps with everybody else. Let's visualize this. This here, the picture on the left, is a city block, 9 lots, and there's a house sitting on every single one of them. Let's say at any given time, 3 of those properties are listed publicly, so everybody gets to see them. What happens? Price keeps going up, margins are thinner, frustration, everybody being overwhelmed. How do we avoid that situation, and how do we find these 6 other opportunities, these so-called off-market deals? Let's start with the hardest, most cruel, most manual work, but probably also the best bang for your buck, return on investment, in my opinion. Homeowners Direct, 1-to-1. Takes 3 to 4 hours every day minimum, at least a year to 2 year commitment. Don't expect this ever to stop, so to say, like any other marketing activity. I've done this extensively in the past. I'll explain to you in a second what worked the best for me, but let's walk this through first at a high level, and then I'll give you some nitty-gritty details and my personal recommendations. Okay, like I said, most manual work, potentially best margins. Why? Because you get to tap into those, remember from the previous picture, 6 properties that we listed that are not on the marketplace. You get to talk to these homeowners directly. There are many ways how you can categorize them. You can target absentee owners, meaning people who own, let's say, out-of-state properties. They might be tired of dealing with tenants, plumbing issues, whatever, maintenance problems, and they are ready to sell. There are different ways how you can categorize these people. There are marketing services out there that you can utilize for this. I'm not going to go into those details today. That's not the purpose of the video, but just know that there are millions of different ways how you can categorize the people, put them into different groups, and be very specific as far as how to target these people. But the work itself is oftentimes very manual. If you're calling people, you personally send letters or cards. I automated that. But if you do door knocking, direct cold calling, or you do drive for dollars, those are all very manual tasks that need to be understood before you start that. It might be okay for you. I personally used letters and postcards extensively, and that's how I got my best deals out of this particular way to target these off-market deal owners. But anyhow, let's go through this. So yellow letters, there are services out there where you can get these handwritten yellow letters that are actually done by a machine, but they look very, very real. They are very effective. I personally sent anywhere between 1,000 to 3,000 letters every month, consistently to the same people. And I got anywhere between, I would say, 5 to 10 leads per month out of that, and then 1 to 2 deals. That was my ratio. Postcards the same way. Typically agents do this a lot, but some investors or real estate business owners as well, and direct phone calling. This is a very effective way to how to learn how to do personal sales, how to practice that craft. So I recommend that to those people who want to do that. Door knocking, obviously you go in one neighborhood. What I have done here, I've done a little bit of door knocking. What I did was that if I had an investment property in one zip code, so I picked a couple of streets where I basically literally knocked on every single door. Tried to tell people the story that, okay, hey, I'm this and this. I just bought a property next door and here's what I did. And then that was an easy way to do the introduction and get the conversation going with those people. Drive for dollars, what does that mean? That means that you basically look for opportunities in any given area. Let's say distressed homes as far as condition goes. You look at properties that are either abandoned, in very rough shape, and you connect the dots. You're thinking that, okay, maybe the owner is out of money, is not really motivated, they have other issues, and if I contact them, they would be very motivated to sell. I've done this too. What I did then was that I had my Excel spreadsheet where I put every single property that really were under this criteria, and then I started contacting these people after the fact, calling them or knocking on doors and so forth. One key element, in my opinion, when I started talking to these people after my extensive yellow letter campaign or personal letter campaign, was that I never tried to sell anything. The mindset I had was that I'm trying to help these people make decisions. Okay, they might be in a tough spot, divorce, out of money, whatever the personal adversity behind the scenes is, I have no idea. I'm in no position to judge anybody. So I never try to trick anybody into selling their property to me. That's obvious, obviously. But many people enter a sales process thinking that, okay, I'm trying to convince this person to sell their house to me. No, it doesn't work that way. If you are genuinely trying to help, there were many instances or cases where I actually recommended these people to do something else. Why don't you go and list the property first with the real estate agent, and then I can help you later if that doesn't work out. I see this path potentially being better for you. And you would be surprised how many times these people called me back after a couple of months saying that, hey, I liked your honesty. We were able to build some trust. So would you be able to reconsider? And some of those leads turn into deals, which was great. But this would be my recommendation. Don't ever try to sell anything. Have the mindset of try to help people make decisions. How can they get out of that tough spot, so to say? And like I said, 3 to 4 hours every day. But my personal recommendation, if I started from scratch today, would be to start targeting, do massive campaigns when it comes to letters and postcards. Those have been very effective in my case. Number 2 on our list, wholesalers and bird dogs. What are these? What is a wholesaler? Wholesaler is a person who puts a property under contract and tries to flip it, meaning they have something under contract for $100,000 and try to find the best possible deal after that. So they have already negotiated the terms with the homeowner. So they are the people who have systems in place for these. And now they locked something up at $100,000 and they try to shop it around. And the problem here is that your competition is pretty fierce. Yeah, it's not on the MLS, meaning it's not public, the property, but it's being shown and sent to every single investor in town. So basically margins are lower. The good thing here is that you can tap into an existing system, existing relationship and network that these people have. So they might actually have a pretty sophisticated machine built behind the scenes where they have a bunch of callers, bunch of bird dogs, bunch of door knockers who are doing this work for them. And then you just get to basically just pick the property, but be ready to bid higher, because ultimately what matters to these people is just the highest price. My recommendation there is just to build relationships and start seeing if there's anything that is useful for you when you start scaling your business. But since the focus of my channel and this video is to build a system that you can scale with, then I would strongly recommend hiring your own bird dogs. What is a bird dog? So basically a person who is doing a lot of manual work. So from here, door knocking, driving for dollars, it's basically talking to lots of prospects, homeowners, and it's basically trying to give you leads. They don't have anything negotiated. They don't have any contracts in place that you can just say, okay, you can jump in and say, okay, I'm willing to pay 115. But they might give you leads for $500 or whatever the pre-negotiated fees. But this to me is probably the best strategy out of these. I have bought properties from wholesalers. I never actually hired anybody to be my official bird dog, but I had people who did it for me periodically. But this is what I would do today if I had to start from scratch and if I had growth in mind to build a system that's scalable. And now number 3, create content and run paid ads. This is number 3. The first 2 were one-to-one ways of targeting people, and this is the first one-to-many, so we're able to use leverage. When you create your organic social media post or you run paid ads, several people get to see that. So that's a form of leverage, and that's why it's so effective. Whereas when we calling somebody, obviously, or knock on somebody's door, it's just one-to-one. It's a long game. Obviously, creating content takes time. I'm living proof of that. It has taken me forever to get going. Well, I don't know if forever, but still, it's a long grinding process to get the attention and then be able to convert that attention to paying clients when it comes to organic social media. But like I said, it's a very effective way to use leverage. And the idea here that I personally follow when it comes to all of my organic social media is that I provide information, I try to educate with my content, and then the ads when I run paid ads, those are the short-term attention. I get leads faster and able to convert those to deals, and then that's how I get my off-market deals. But if I were to give anybody a recommendation today regarding this particular category. So here's my 3-step process, what I would do. I would first of all start building a website. If you want to create a process for your business, you want to grow it, you need a system behind it. How can I standardize it? So this is one way of doing it. So build a website. So then the second step is that you add a simple lead magnet plus landing page. This is basically the simple offer you're promising to these people. So if you are advertising, promoting your service to homeowners directly, figure out what is it that they need. In my previous video, I talked about value. How can I make something faster, cheaper, and easier and more convenient? for those target customers. And then use both organic social media content and ads. And then as far as that goes, I would divide that into two different buckets. So my reach out, this is my organic social. I would actually start looking at agents who are effective in my area. And I would start connecting with them through LinkedIn and Facebook first, friend request, connect with them on LinkedIn. And then after that, once they have accepted, I would create personalized videos to these people, telling who I am, showing before and after pictures and videos, and creating trust that way. That's what I would do there. And then as far as running paid ads, I would start with Google Ads, which is something I've done in the past extensively, and I would target homeowners in my particular area. And I would be very specific as far as what types of people I'm targeting, whether they are absentee owners, how much equity, how big the house is, or is it a condo, an apartment building, and be very, very specific, and then start growing my company that way, instead of just like trying to boil the ocean and be everything for everybody. And finally, number 4, play the long game with agents. Wait a minute, aren't agents the ones who have those public properties, the ones on the MLS? Yes, but they are also the best source, according to my experience, for those private deals, off-market deals, pocket listings, whatever you want to call them. I've been able to get my share of deals in several countries doing this, building trust by basically showing up, never complaining, bidding on other stuff that they have, maybe buying something, demonstrating that I'm the person who never backs away from a deal. I always make good promises and I keep them all, because trust is the currency in this business. You got to first earn it, and then you will get your fair share of deals. So many people enter these transactions looking at that short-term profit in their mind. They offer 200 and then their only strategy is to actually find a way how to lower the price by 20,000. And agents hate that. If you put yourself in their shoes, they don't want to lose face in front of their customer, who's the homeowner who hired them in the first place. So if you want to work with these people long term and get your share of the deals and build that pipeline and build your own process to get a lot of deals going forward and build your business, you got to understand trust first. Value is speed, cost, efficiency, ease, and agents are no different. So that's how I've been doing it. That's how I keep doing it in the future. And if you want to play this long game too, you got to understand that. So trust is the currency in this game. Make good promises and keep them all. And if you want help building a repeatable system to give you better deals, make more money, and stop reacting to the market, click the link below and book that free one-on-one consultation with me. In that call, we will go through your exact situation and map your actions going forward. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.